I hope you did your homework and you were able to count how many times the word camel is mentioned in chapter 24. Anybody would like to answer the question? Anybody found it? Sorry? 11, 16, 16. Anybody else? 127. Oh, thank you. Thank you for paying attention. That was good. Okay. Right answer is 17. That's how much I counted. Maybe, Carl, we need to recount. Okay. So I'm going to share with you a story. At that time, there was a wealthy man who had 3 sons. By the way, 17 times the word camel, gamal, is mentioned in chapter 24. So this is the story. There was a time, a wealthy man who had 3 sons. Among his most prized possessions were 17 camels. He was also known to be very smart. In his will, he determined that the oldest son should get half of his estate, while the second-born son should inherit 1/3 of his estate, and his youngest son, being the youngest, should inherit 1/9 of his estate. After the father died, the 3 brothers were quite happy to inherit that wealth. They loved and respected their father very, very much, so they were quite eager to satisfy the will of their father exactly. However, they did not like the idea of killing some of the camels in order to honor the last will of their father. 1/2 of the camels, of 17 camels, makes 8.5. So the oldest brother figured that. Then 1/3 of the 17 camels make 5 2/3 of a camel, calculated the second brother, and 1/9 of 17 camels makes only 1 8/9 camels, thought the youngest brother. A dead camel was not worthy much, so it made perfect sense that they hesitated to proceed with the execution of the will. So how could their father make such a mistake, they thought. He must have been very bad in arithmetic or mathematics. In the city closer to their town, there was a well-known old philosopher, or if you want to call him rabbi, that's fine. And he was known to have solved many difficult problems. So eager to solve their problem, they traveled to the big city, taking their camels with them. So, you could not leave anything behind since there was no police at that time. And they found the wise men. The philosopher offered them some tea and listened to their story. I agree this is a very difficult question, very difficult problem to solve, and I don't know what to do, but please come back tomorrow morning. Perhaps I have an idea overnight. The next morning, they came back with their camels and found the old man already expecting them. He says, this was indeed a very difficult problem, and I had to think all night long before I saw how to solve it. Before solving your problem, let me make you a gift. I am very much impressed by your eagerness to honor the will of your father, so I will give you, in addition to your 17 camels you already own, 1 more camel out of my own possession. The 3 brothers were now very happy and excited. They got a free camel. Great. Okay, said the old man, let's now try to execute the will of your father. You, the oldest son, how much are you supposed to get? 1/2 of 18 camels, says the oldest son. That makes 9 camels. So he was very happy because now they had 18, yes? 17 plus the one that the old man gave him. 9 camels, says the oldest son. And you, second son, how much are you supposed to get? Well, answers 1/3. Okay, how much is 1/3 of 18 camels? 6. Very nice. Okay, take the 6 camels. Finally, he turns to the youngest one. How many camels are you supposed to get? 1/9. And 1/9 is 2. Very well. So the 3 brothers take the 9 plus 6 plus 2. Camels away. 9 plus 6 plus 2, 17. So they're surprised. There's 1 camel left. So 9, 6, 2 makes 17, and there were 18 camels. This camel, says the old man, happens to be my own camel, and although I gave it to you as a present, I will not take it back as a fee for the service I performed by solving the problem. The three brothers were extremely pleased. No camel had to be killed, and yet the will of their father was completely satisfied. So, very nice story, and it coincides with the fact that the word 17, or the word camel, is mentioned 17 times in this chapter. The chapter 24 is the chapter when Abraham sent his servant to find a wife for his only son, Isaac. His servant, Eliezer, if he couldn't find a wife for Yitzhak, would be the heir of Abraham. He will inherit everything that Abraham had. And here goes Eliezer with the possibility of faking that trip and saying, I went all the way with my camels, couldn't find a wife for you, not for you, but for your son. So now I am the heir. So why do you think there's a need to repeat so many times the word camel? I believe there's a hidden message here. The Torah is trying to tell us something else here. The whole story of the servant trying to find a wife for Isaac is a story of gemilut chasadim, a word that you, Jack, used. And the word gamal, camel, has the same root of gemilut chasadim. Gemilut chasadim, act of loving kindness. As I mentioned, Eliezer could have faked the trip and say, I could not find a wife for Isaac, and therefore he could have been the heir. Also in the story of the three sons, where the heritage is at stake, there is an act of loving kindness of the kids, but not splitting the camels, and the philosopher by giving them the solution in a kind way. In both stories, the heritage and Gemilut Chasadim are present. 17 camels reminds us of how we can be more compassionate and what the legacy we are leaving to the future generations is. 17 camels reminds us that we are here for those who will come after us. 17 camels reminds us that the way we want to be remembered may be selfish or generous. The Torah, in its mysterious ways, teaches us to be thankful, to be generous and kind, and to count our camels, as well as to count our blessings every day. Shabbat Shalom.